Well, I'm live. Well, it says I'm live. Hey, my name is Randy Stevens, and I see time ticking. And time is ticking by. I'm 57. Time keeps ticking by. Talking to you just a little bit today about some things that are going through my mind. You know, and this has to do with why you're selecting bad relationships. And a lot of times, we get a lot out there about narcissism, and there's a lot of information, thankfully, out there about that, and a lot of bashing. A lot of people are mad, including myself. But I want to look at it from the scope of why why you're selecting this type of person, because truly you are. And then really it gets down to a subconscious level, and you go, yeah, come on, Randy, the psychological bull crap, blah blah blah, psychoanalyze me, my childhood, blah blah. You need to look at your childhood, because that's where this stuff is coming from, and that's why subconsciously, and it's hard to understand that subconsciously, though, what you're doing is selecting somebody uh, to meet a need that wasn't met. So in most cases, people that are codependent like myself were raised by narcissists. And I'll just give you mine. My dad was not available emotionally. And I mean, my dad was, you know, just not a good man. Just not a good father and not a good man. But if you looked outside, he was. It was very confusing. He lived his life that way. Very duplicitous. Everybody thought my father was the greatest thing on earth. But my dad was running around, and having affairs, and he abandoned his family for a 19-year-old, and he was 43, and abandoned his wife and kids. And I could bash the heck out of him for that. But what it created in me is this need for somebody to fill the love that my father wasn't giving me. And I've looked at that, and I've looked at even my behaviors in the past, and I suggest that if you're coming out of narcissistic relationships or toxic relationships, you really got to take a look at this, because until you get all of that, you're just going to keep repeating the pattern, and you're likely to repeat the pattern anyway. It's kind of sad, because um, it's such a ingrained behavior to look outwardly for love. See, the love isn't outwardly. The love that we should have is inwardly, and it's a God-given love. So I'm a Christian, so God gives us a love and value that we need and desire, and everything about who we are is wrapped up in what He says about us. And if you're not a Christian, you still have that love, because and I'm still going to go with that belief that God created you and He loves you, and you have inherent value. But when you're brought up in a toxic environment um, with your parents or and caregivers, that really gets stripped away. So the outside, is you're looking outside to fulfill, and we all get that, right? But it's as plain as the nose on my face. But you really need to understand that for yourself, so that you can start to heal and start to have better relationships. On the narcissist side, I disagree with the narcissist is praying, and he's praying like a tiger, and he's pouncing on. Yeah, well, maybe he is, but they all do the same thing. So narcissists are coming from a wounded place also. They've been hurt terribly and abused, and so they're just putting on the mask. And the mask is, oh, I love you, and the love bombing that we all talk about. That's just to feed into that. They obviously know what works, and it is working. So I love you, and you're like, oh, I'm so glad somebody loves me, because you don't. Oh, I'm so glad, because that's what I need is love, love, somebody cares, somebody, uh, you know, is fulfilling. And then once they have that, they can, oh, I can stop doing that, and they can start being their old narcissistic self, which we might call the devalue stage. Like, yeah, get out of my face, you're a waste. And then you start seeing stuff. Hey, why you treat me like that? And then they throw on the mask again. So this is just my interpretation. But there's a lot of other things that can happen in fighting and devaluing, and finally I've come to a place where I won't accept that anymore. And it's really been hard because, well, I don't know why. I understand why, because in the sense of my past, but it's so ingrained. You have to relearn. You have to relearn, and you have to rewire your subconscious almost to this place where, I'm not going to be treated like crap. You're not going to treat me with this face one day and this other face the other day, because that's not working for me. And yeah, we all have bad days and things, but and we all deserve forgiveness. And codependents, true to form, are very forgiving, loving, forgetful, and narcissists are bent on the other scope. But like I said, with narcissists, they're coming from a hurt place, and codependents are coming from a hurt place, and you're just revisiting your childhood. So why not give yourself a chance here? Go and revisit your childhood now before you go off and get into a relationship. Try to understand what really happened. Try to offer forgiveness if you can, for your abusive, narcissistic parent. Most of all, offer forgiveness for you, because, you're a kid, and you're looking for love from somebody who can't give it. So you don't want to do that in your adult. I did that. You start doing that in your adult years, and you just get crushed, because you're looking for love in the wrong places, like that old song said. I've been looking for love in the wrong places, and you're willing to give it. You're willing to accept it from just about anybody who will just offer it. And the toxic narcissistic person is willing to give it. They need to, on one hand, they're trying to deal with all their stuff in this relationship too. They're revisiting their childhood and their their wounds. So they're casting all their wounds and their hurt and everything that they experience on another person. Their abuse. That's what they learned. And you learned the same thing. You watched your parent, probably one of your caregivers, be codependent. I suppose you could have two narcissists, but I would say the majority, you learn how to just be. I don't even know what I'm saying. It's so much there, but you learn from your childhood is what I'm saying. You're watching and learning, and you're living, and it's difficult, and it's from that standpoint, you really the basic gist is what I'm trying to say is you gotta get down to the childhood aspect of your life, so that you can heal, and hopefully you'll have some relationships, love relationships in the future. If you don't, you don't, and that's fine too. You need to get to a place where that's not something that you need. So your codependent person, they need that. They can't be. They're so lonely that Ross Rosenberg, Dr. Rosenberg, I think he's a doctor, but Ross Rosenberg talks about the pathological loneliness of a codependent person. Man, you're so lonely. That's why you got to get with another one and another one. You're so lonely, you'll buy into anything. And so instead of doing that, take some time and be alone. Look at your childhood. And if you need to talk to somebody, you can talk to me, but I'm not a therapist, but I have experienced this. You need to talk to somebody, though, because, once you get into these relationships, at least by now, if you're on board listening to this later, nobody's listening to this live, that's fine. But and I don't care. See, I don't care. It used to crush me when I was really deep in codependency. Oh, people don't care about me. I don't care, and I've learned not to take too much stock in even my own self in that aspect. So, just take some time Be alone. Figure out. Think about. Really sit. You don't even need a therapist. Really sit with yourself and think about your childhood. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some mercy. Give yourself understand that this happened. Forgive the narcissist in your life in the past. Forgive your old man. My thing was my old man. That's and my theory is, a lot of codependency people probably come from those kind of fathers. I don't know. Maybe somebody has some insight on that. That I'm always interested in understanding more about human behavior. The female narcissist is rough, and the children come out either narcissists or codependent. It's really sad, and the thing just keeps going on and on and on, and until you can get a hold of yourself and have some self-reflection and understand that that you really do have value intrinsically without anybody else. You just have value, and God has given you a place. You were created in His image and His likeness, and you can even navigate through life without a relationship. Can you believe it? You really can, because you have a relationship with yourself, and you start to abandon yourself. And there's so many things that I learned that I didn't understand, and now I understand them. And I hope that I pass that on to you. It's been about 11 minutes. It's going to be 12 minutes. I'm just talking and babbling, but I'm really hoping that something some fruit comes to this. And I hope you're thinking about these things. Give me a shout if you need to navigate some more and get some more understanding. Eventually, if you're seeking it, you're going to get there. So God bless you. Bye.